Hey everyone. So, you've been visualizing it, right? Again and again. You close your eyes, you really feel the emotion, you vividly imagine that future you desire, and then, crickets. Nothing changes. Or maybe, just maybe, it changes for a fleeting moment, you get a glimpse, a tiny shift, a little confirmation, and then, boom, you're right back in the same old loop, with the same thoughts, stuck in the same energetic space. If you've ever wondered why it feels like your vision is so powerful but somehow just isn't landing in your reality, this is precisely why. Visualization alone doesn't manifest reality. Frequency does. There's a quantum difference, a fundamental energetic distinction, between just imagining a future and actively broadcasting the frequency of that future. There's a difference between just seeing what you want, and truly becoming the version of yourself who already lives it, right here, right now, in the quantum field. You see, visualization is only a small part of the equation. The real key, the hidden code, is your frequency. And unless that personal frequency authentically matches the reality you're calling in, it's going to stay just out of reach, no matter how vividly or how often you see it in your mind's eye. You've probably been told to ask, believe, receive. But in truth, the quantum field doesn't really respond to requests in the way we think of them. It responds to coherence, to energetic integrity, to your fully embodied signal. Not the signal you try to project for a few minutes in meditation, but the one you consistently carry in your breath, in your daily choices, in your underlying emotions. Because the universe isn't just listening to what you say, it's listening, and responding, to what you are. That's the code. And once you truly understand it, once you see how subtle yet profound this shift really is, everything begins to change. Not because you tried harder or thought more positively, but because you stopped chasing, you stopped asking from a place of lack, you stopped reinforcing the very idea that your dream life was somewhere far away. And instead, you started treating it like a frequency you could literally step into and embody now. Now, this frequency, the one that unlocks the reality you've been visualizing, it's not theoretical. It's not abstract. It's vibrational, and it has a specific texture to it, a certain feel. It's often characterized by a calm certainty, a steady, unshakable rhythm. It doesn't rush. It doesn't crave. It doesn't sit around wondering when things will finally shift. It already knows. Because when you act from the identity of someone who has already received, the field must adjust. It has no other choice. So, why does that shift into this knowing frequency feel so difficult sometimes? Why is it so easy to visualize something beautiful, yet so incredibly hard to hold the actual energy of, it's already mine? It's because almost everything in your past, your conditioning, has trained you to vibrate in the frequency of not yet. You've been programmed to wait, to earn it, to prepare for it, to somehow deserve it. And now, for perhaps the first time, you're being asked to abandon all of that ingrained programming and simply embody what once felt like a distant, unattainable dream. It feels unnatural at first, doesn't it? It can even feel like you're lying to yourself. But that's only because your nervous system hasn't quite caught up to your soul's truth. Because this frequency we're stepping into, it's not actually new to your soul, it's just unfamiliar to your body, to your conditioned mind. And a huge part of this journey is about teaching your body what your soul already inherently knows. You're not chasing your future, you're remembering your alignment with it. You might be thinking, but how on earth do I stay in that frequency when nothing around me has actually changed yet? And the answer is, you become the change first. You make a conscious decision that your vibration leads, and the evidence will inevitably follow. You shift your focus from what's missing to what's already here, in potential. From what you want to what you are becoming. And as you do that, day after day, a new energy starts to take root within you, an energy that doesn't collapse under pressure, one that doesn't dissolve when the world gets loud or chaotic again. it gradually becomes your new baseline. And that's precisely when the field begins to bend, to conform towards you, not because you forced it, but because you finally, authentically matched it. This is exactly what we're going to explore in depth in this video. Not just the surface-level idea of manifestation, but the actual frequency that unlocks the life you've been so vividly visualizing. We'll talk about how to shift out of that exhausting cycle of lack and into the empowering vibration of embodiment. How to truly act as if, without it feeling like you're faking it. How to move through your life like it's already yours, not because you're trying to impress the universe, but because you're finally living in deep, resonant harmony with it. Because there is a code, a precise energetic rhythm, and once you learn how to tune into it, everything around you starts to respond, gently, powerfully, and consistently. Are you ready to remember what it truly feels like to be a vibrational match for the reality you've always seen in your heart? Then let's begin. Alright, let's make something crystal clear right now. The quantum field doesn't really care about what you want. It responds, with unwavering precision, to what you are vibrationally. It doesn't decode your vision board meticulously. It doesn't weigh your intentions on some cosmic scale or count how many affirmations you repeat. It simply, and perfectly, mirrors the frequency you are consistently broadcasting. And that frequency isn't coming from your stated goals, it's emanating from your core identity. Not the identity you talk about, but the one you live from, the one that shapes how you walk into a room, how you react to silence, how you carry yourself when no one's watching. Because in the quantum world, reality isn't something you get, it's something you generate from the inside out. So, what does this mean in real, everyday life? It means if you visualize abundance but you live from a constant fear of spending, or a feeling of not enough, your field is primarily receiving and reflecting fear and not enough. If you visualize love but you instinctively reject compliments or push genuine intimacy away, your field is registering resistance. If you visualize expansion and growth but you consistently speak about your life like you're stuck and nothing ever changes, your field believes you. Because the field doesn't interpret your dreams, it reads your coherence. This is why so many wonderful people feel incredibly frustrated on their manifestation path. They feel like they're doing everything right, meditating, journaling, scripting, visualizing, and still, things just don't seem to land. Why? Because often, their thoughts and their deep-seated emotions aren't truly aligned. They're trying to manifest from their conscious mind, while their body, their subconscious, is still signaling fear, unworthiness, or old survival mode patterns. The result? Mixed signals. And the quantum field, being a perfect mirror, just reflects that static back. Now, here's where the real shift happens. When your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions all start to say the same thing, when they sing the same song, the field has no choice but to reflect that unified message back to you. This is what we call coherence. And in that state of coherence, your frequency becomes stable, strong, and incredibly magnetic. That's when reality genuinely starts to rearrange itself around you. Think about it this way: desire without a matching identity is just noise in the system. But when your core identity and your desire merge into one, your signal becomes pure. And the field doesn't respond to wishy-washy desire, it responds to that frequency of certainty. So, how do we step into that kind of certainty, especially when there's no external evidence yet to support it? You consciously create the evidence, not outside you, but within you. You begin showing up, day by day, moment by moment, as the version of yourself that already lives the reality you've been visualizing. You stop waiting to feel successful and you start dressing, speaking, and walking like someone who is successful, who embodies that success. Not because you're faking it, but because you're remembering who you actually are beneath all the layers of doubt and conditioning. Neville Goddard called this living from the end. Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it firing and wiring new neural patterns in your brain and body. Greg Braden refers to it as achieving emotional coherence. But the essence, regardless of the terminology, is precisely the same. You stop trying to become and you start being. That's the quantum frequency we're talking about. It's not something you chase, it's something you consciously choose to inhabit, again and again and again, until your nervous system gets used to it, until your self-talk stops sabotaging it, until it becomes so natural, so your default state, that you can't even quite remember what it felt like to vibrate in that old energy of lack or limitation. And yes, it absolutely takes courage. Because stepping into that version of yourself before the world reflects it back can feel lonely, disorienting, and even, at first, a bit fake. But that feeling is usually just your past identity, your old programming, trying to protect its familiar place in your energy field. Let it be there. Acknowledge it. But don't let it drive the car anymore. You are the signal now. You become the calibration point. You become the source of the shift, not just the result of it. You become the reality. This isn't about faking confidence, it's about genuinely finding and cultivating the frequency of already being and living from that authentic place. It's about training your entire system to feel safe and at home in the space of enough, of already have, of already am. Because when your subconscious mind feels safe in that new state, your energy naturally expands. And when your energy expands, the field responds. So, if you've been trying, and forcing, and looping, would you be willing to let that go? You're not here to work harder for your dreams, you're here to recognize that the version of you who already lives them isn't far away at all. It's just on a different frequency, a more stable one, a more embodied one. And that version of you? It already knows how to move, speak, decide, and feel like it's done. Because for them, it is done. Let's go meet them. We've now reached the part that most people tend to misunderstand, and it's where everything truly begins to shift, acting as if. Now, those three little words, act as if, have been so misunderstood, oversimplified, even mocked. Because on the surface, they can sound like you're just pretending, like you're forcing something, like you're putting on a costume and hoping the universe somehow buys it. But in truth, when we talk about it in this quantum context, acting as if is not about pretending, it's profound frequency training. When you consciously act as if it's already yours, you are intentionally aligning your physical body, your emotions, your entire being with your desired signal before the external world gives you permission or validation. You're not waiting for proof, you are becoming the proof. And in doing so, you're sending a clear, steady, unambiguous message to the quantum field: I'm ready. I've arrived. Match me. Now, this is not always easy, let's be real. Because your current environment might still be reflecting that old version of you. Your bank account might still echo scarcity. Your relationships might still mirror older, unhealed patterns. And yet, you're being asked to act from the new frequency anyway. Why? Because that's how energy actually collapses into form, not through passive waiting, but through active identity. So, how do you practically do it? You start small. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You need to change the way you move through your current life. The way you speak about yourself, both to others and in your own mind. The way you hold your posture. The way you respond when something beautiful or positive does happen. Do you receive it fully, or do you immediately question if it's real or if it will last? Every single one of these micro-movements, these subtle choices, tells the field what you truly believe you deserve, what you're a vibrational match for. If you were already living your highest, most desired reality, how would you wake up tomorrow morning? What would you choose to wear, even if no one else was watching? How would you breathe, eat, walk, speak? This isn't about surface-level aesthetics, it's about your energetic posture. Would you still shrink your energy when you walk into certain rooms or around certain people? Would you still apologize for your truth, for taking up space? Would you still abandon your intuition just to maintain a false sense of harmony? Or would you begin choosing, consistently, like someone who trusts themselves deeply? Like someone who no longer needs to get the thing because they've already become the version of themselves who naturally has it? You see, when you shift your internal signal, everything downstream, everything in your external experience, begins to adjust. That's why some people call this quantum shifting, because your choices, as subtle as they may seem, act like pebbles dropped into the vast quantum field, creating ripples that extend far beyond what your physical eyes can currently see. So, instead of constantly asking, when will it happen, start asking yourself, how would I move, think, feel, and speak today if I knew it had already happened? This is where your behavior stops being merely reactive to old circumstances and starts becoming powerfully magnetic. When your words, your tone, and your very presence begin to genuinely match the reality you've been visualizing, you're no longer trying to attract something from a distance, you're simply embodying the version of you that's already in perfect alignment with it. And here's what's so wild, you'll start to notice the field responding. People might treat you differently. New ideas might arrive out of the blue. Synchronicities and coincidences might line up in surprising ways. Not because the universe suddenly decided to favor you, but because your signal finally got strong enough, clear enough, to pierce through the noise of your old programming. You stopped leaking your precious energy into someday and started fully embodying now. This is coherence. This is how manifestation actually works. Not by begging or scripting endlessly or trying to manifest harder, but by becoming the living, breathing signal that your future self already embodies. And yes, your mind will try to interrupt. It will say, but we don't have that yet. It will ask, aren't you afraid you're just being unrealistic? That's not your truth speaking, that's your past, your conditioning, trying to keep you small and safe in the familiar. Let it speak, acknowledge it, and then keep going. Because this isn't about convincing anyone else, it's about training your own field to believe what your soul already knows to be true. So today, speak just one sentence like it's already done. Make one small choice like you're already there. Take one single step like it's already yours. Because the more you act like it's already yours, the more the field believes you. And when the field believes you, reality itself bends to meet your signal. There are these moments in your journey, where everything just feels kind of suspended. You've been doing the inner work, you've been stabilizing your energy, you've consciously stopped chasing, and yet, on the surface, nothing huge seems to be happening. But deep within, something feels distinctly different. Your thoughts are quieter. Your nervous system feels safer, more regulated. You start to notice these tiny, subtle shifts in how you react to the world. And then, it happens. A number appears, almost effortlessly, repeatedly. Maybe it's 3 digits that seem to follow you around across days, places, devices, you see it on clocks, on receipts, license plates. It's 777. You might glance at it and initially brush it off as just a coincidence. But there's a part of you, the part that's becoming more attuned, more aware, that knows it's not random. It's a message, a subtle activation, a vibrational mirror. You weren't even looking for a sign, and that's exactly why it came. Because the field doesn't respond to neediness or desperation, it responds to pure resonance. And 777 often only appears when your field has become aligned deeply enough for the quantum to gently whisper back to you. It's not necessarily announcing that your big manifestation is on the way, in some future sense. More accurately, it's telling you that you've become a vibrational match for what's already been circling in your energy field, waiting for you to be ready. That the energetic seed you planted, sometimes with conscious intention, sometimes just through your quiet, consistent presence, is now vibrating at the frequency of bloom. In many spiritual traditions, the number 7 carries sacred symbolism. It's often linked to divine truth, deep intuition, and inner mastery. When it triples, as in 777, it transcends simple numerology, it becomes a vibrational signature of coherence. Not necessarily of perfection, but of profound congruence. It signals that your thoughts, your actions, and your core emotions are no longer wildly contradicting each other. You're no longer trying to manifest a reality of abundance from a body that doesn't feel safe to receive it. You're no longer imagining success with your mind while your heart is still signaling doubt. You've come into a state of inner harmony, perhaps not constantly, but consistently enough to actually alter your timeline. In quantum terms, seeing 777 can indicate that the wave of potential you've been focusing on is very close to collapsing into tangible reality. You're still within the field of infinite outcomes, but your dominant signal is now powerfully pulling reality toward one specific expression, the one you've been diligently tuning to through your emotional steadiness and your internal reprogramming. The field has heard you, not through your words alone, but through your sustained frequency. And this number, 777, it's not a reward, it's a resonance echo. It appears not to give you something, but to reflect what you've already become. And here's where most people miss the true power of it. They see 777 as a green light to just relax completely, to step back, to say, okay, great, it's handled now. But this moment isn't about stepping away, it's actually about anchoring deeper. It's a threshold. And your role isn't to celebrate prematurely or to return to passivity. Your role is to hold the signal, stay in that resonant current, and let the field continue to sync up with you without interruption from old doubts or energies. You've heard that manifestations can happen all of a sudden, but truly, nothing in the quantum field happens suddenly from nothing. What feels instant in the physical realm was actually built slowly, consistently, in the invisible realm of energy and frequency. 777 often marks that crucial tipping point, that subtle balance between your focused intention and its inevitable manifestation, the place where your desired reality isn't just coming toward you anymore, it's actively forming around you. And yet, 777 is more than just a sign of alignment and impending manifestation. It's also an invitation to deepen your presence, to stop searching externally and start embodying more fully, to truly notice how your body feels in this present moment, right now, and ask yourself, is this how the version of me who lives that desired reality would feel? Would they rush? Would they doubt? Or would they trust the structure that's forming just beneath the surface of their awareness? Because that's what this is, a structural shift. You're not just manifesting an isolated outcome, you're fundamentally rewiring the foundation of who you are, how you think, how you feel, how you move, speak, decide. The field is responding to that new identity. And the number isn't telling you what's next, it's powerfully confirming what's already here, within you. And if you feel that, not just conceptually, but energetically, if something in you recognizes this message as timely, as precise, as true for you right now, then just take a breath and let your entire system receive it. Let your nervous system feel safe in this confirmation. Let your heart soften into this deep knowing that you're no longer just becoming aligned, you already are. That the shift isn't just coming, it's actively stabilizing. That what you've visualized isn't some distant dream waiting to be reached, it's a frequency you've finally, successfully tuned into. And if you want to make that resonance even more real, not just within yourself but in the shared field of everyone who might be watching and resonating with this, then leave a comment below with 777. Not because it's some lucky charm, but because it's a declaration, a quiet but powerful way of saying, I feel it. I remember. I'm aligned. Sometimes, numbers are just numbers. But sometimes, they're a language, a mirror, a code, a truth you're finally ready to live. Maybe no one ever told you this, but manifestation isn't truly the art of getting what you want, it's the art of remembering who you truly are. And every frequency you've been trying so hard to access, abundance, peace, purpose, love, already exists inside that deep remembrance. It's not outside of you, waiting to be earned or achieved, it's within you, waiting to be stabilized and lived. The truth is, you've already touched it before. You've had those glimpses, those flashes of profound alignment, those moments when time seemed to dissolve and you felt completely at peace, perhaps for no apparent external reason. Moments when your heart spontaneously opened without your mind's permission, when the right words just flowed effortlessly, when you made a decision that felt like it came from somewhere much deeper, much wiser. Those weren't accidents. They were previews of the self you're in the process of becoming more consistently, and of the life that version of you naturally attracts. Quantum manifestation isn't about trying to force those moments to happen more frequently. It's about expanding your capacity to stay in them, to make those elevated states your new baseline, to become someone who doesn't need to constantly visualize because you're already resonating with, living from, the frequency of what you used to only imagine. And that shift, that stabilization, isn't something you'll necessarily feel overnight as a dramatic overhaul. But it is something you'll recognize in the subtle, yet profound, ways life begins to respond to you, a conversation that feels unusually aligned and supportive, a sense of inner calm settling in, even in the middle of chaos, a decision made without all the usual overthinking and anxiety. These are the signs that your signal is stabilizing, that you're no longer just reaching for the field, you're an integral part of it, merged with it, consistently emitting a frequency that no longer negotiates with your past limitations. And this is so important, because that old identity, that old programming, will still try to whisper. It'll say things like, "You're not really ready," or, "Who do you think you are?" or, "You need more proof first before you can really believe this." It'll invite you to collapse right back into your history, into those familiar, comfortable yet limiting patterns. And every time you notice it, you'll have a choice. Do I play out that old timeline again? Or do I hold the frequency of the new one for just one more breath, one more moment? That's where your true power lives now, not in how loud you are or how fast you try to move, but in how consistently you can stay in that energy of, "It is already mine." Not to impress anyone, not to trick the field, but because that's simply who you are now. You're not searching for signs anymore, you're becoming one. You're not performing worthiness, you're embodying it. And the universe doesn't need to be convinced, it simply, and always, responds. This is what it means to truly manifest, not to bend the world to your will, but to match your inner state so precisely, so authentically, that the world mirrors you back in exquisite detail. Not because you're manipulating matter, but because you've dissolved the internal resistance, you've clarified your signal, you've collapsed the interference that once stood between your highest self and your current reality. And when that happens, something truly unexpected often appears: peace. Not necessarily wild excitement or a rush of adrenaline, but a deep, profound peace. Because you realize you're no longer chasing anything. You're allowing. You're receiving. You're witnessing your own energy returning to you in the beautiful forms of people, opportunities, clarity, and grace. There is no greater shift than that. And the more you return to that state of peace and alignment, again and again, the more your nervous system learns that it's safe to live here, not just to visit this frequency occasionally, but to truly reside in it, to make this alignment your new home. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because your inner coherence no longer depends on the chaotic fluctuations of the outside world. You've, in essence, internalized the field. You've learned to trust it, and in a beautiful way, it trusts you back. So, just take a breath right now, a real, conscious one. Let yourself fully receive all of this. Let it settle into your system, not as new, complex information, but as remembered, resonant truth. Feel your energy soften into the awareness that you've actually already changed. You're not waiting for the quantum shift, you are the quantum shift. And if something in this video met you at just the right moment, if it helped you connect a piece of the puzzle that's been floating just out of reach, then maybe this isn't just content you consumed, maybe it's a mirror, or reflection of who you're actively becoming, a reminder that the frequency you've been visualizing isn't just theoretical, it's vibrational, and you're finally, truly living in it. If that feels true, if it resonates deep within you, then I warmly invite you to stay connected with this space, to subscribe, not because you're supposed to, but because it genuinely aligns with your journey. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a frequency. And if you found yourself breathing a little differently, a little more deeply while watching this, you're already in it. We're not just watching videos here, we're actively practicing new timelines. We're not just consuming information, we're collapsing possibility into form. We're not just learning, we're remembering. And I'm truly glad you're here. Let's keep shifting together.